Live on Instagram. Hello. Welcome to Porter Coaching Studio, also known as my living room. My name is Chris Porter, and I'm an ADHD coach, and I'm putting together some tools and resources for people like me that have struggled with their focus and flow. They may have ADHD or may not have realized you had ADHD, but all the symptoms were there, and maybe now you're starting to realize what's going on. Before I forget, I'm going to do the customary, I don't know what to call it, tracking of the day of going live, because if you've been here for any length of time, you know that I've got my group coaching program Focus Habits, and I'm going live for 30 days, or I have to eat some dog food. And I've got that dog food right here. I don't want to eat it though. So today is, where are my stickies? Aha! Today is day 17 of going live and of sharing my story of having ADHD, the tips and the resources that I put together, and just kind of my experiences. So tonight, and I'm standing on a mat today because that's my standing desk setup, but over lunch I was watching a video by Jessica McCabe where she gave a TED Talk called Struggling at Normal. And it really hit me. It affected me quite a bit. So if you haven't seen that, I'll post a link in the comments, because it really helped to succinctly talk about some of the main things of like what it's like to have ADHD, what it's like to feel like, oh man, if only I just tried harder, then I would be able to accomplish stuff. Why am I not being able to do this? You know, she was a gifted kid in school, but then all of a sudden when she had to be the one to turn in her homework, she was forgetting it or not turning it on time. And here she was, this kid that had done so well, like leading up to, that grade. And then she started taking medication and things got a lot better. But then her boyfriend left her, and then a year into her marriage, they broke up and got divorced, and just all these things in her life. It seemed like almost revolved around ADHD, or looking at her life through the lens of ADHD. I was just really saddened at how much it had negatively affected her life. And I'm thankful that my ADHD hasn't, maybe I'm not quite as strong of a case as hers. I think I've had a supportive family. My parents put me in multiple schools trying to figure out what would work well, then pulled me out and homeschooled me. And then my dad did locksmithing with me, grades 8th and 9th grade. So that way I could just learn the way that I learned best. And so I'm thankful that my life is different from that. But I also see that she hit this wall and finally poured into learning all about ADHD and how to help other people, like me, like you, if you have it, to understand what is it like and what are the things that we need to do. Because like her, I dove into self-help books and thought, oh man, if only I could just apply this advice to my life, things would be so much better. And it never happened. I read 7 Habits. I can't tell you how many times I read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Goals by Brian Tracy, just ad nauseum. And I love those books, but only some of the advice works for me. And some of the advice just does not work because I have an executive dysfunction, because I can be impulsive at times. And so, and that impulsivity is just because of the way my brain is wired. I'm lower on dopamine and norepinephrine. Lately, I've been taking supplements that help to boost those, so it's not as bad. But I'm never going to be cured of ADHD. but I have so many tools now that lessen the negative impact of it and actually make me love myself and love that I have a brain like the way that it is. And so I think it's been cool to like hear about her story and how she has, I don't know if I want to say overcome ADHD, but really like accepted it in her life. And through that acceptance and then her finding the tools that work for her, like coaching, like medication, like having a support group, and people around her to help her. She's been super successful on YouTube because she's also created, she's this entrepreneur and she's created a life around what works well for her. And then she's able to not do the things that don't work well for her. And funny enough, I'm an entrepreneur as well, and I've fallen into that path. And, if you have ADHD, like she was saying, that we're 300% more likely to be entrepreneurs if, in this group of ADHDers, which is just crazy. Like, I love people like me that are willing to take risks and willing to maybe even be spontaneous, to go out and start their own thing and figure out what's going to work well for them. So, I'm not sure what other takeaways I have from her story. I think the thing that I really enjoyed about her talk was how well she put things, contrasting like normal advice and neurotypical advice to what actually works well for ADHD. That was one of the parts that really hit me. And also just giving like the briefest explanation of what ADHD is like, and that she's speaking to this audience of neurotypical people, and that, anywhere from 5 to 10% of the population has this. So, they're likely have met people, their loved ones, their, all these people that the neurotypicals have interacted with likely have ADHD, and that all of our brains are different, like, it's not just a label like stamped on your forehead. Okay, you have ADHD. There's the 3 subtypes: the hyperactive, inattentive, and combined type. And then there's even just different expressions amongst men versus women. I know as a child I was much more hyperactive. Now I'm definitely not in the hyperactive category, but it's still like this motor is always running in me, and I get up in the middle of movies and TV shows and whenever I'm sitting down for long periods of time. But actually lately, I'm able to sit down for much longer, like 2 and 3 hours at a time, because I'm working out. I've got movement going on. I'm taking the supplements that have boosted my norepinephrine and dopamine. And then, I'm also on a very low dose of medication, which is great. I'm sensitive to medication, so I don't need tons. But there's, and then I've got all the tools that I use, like the timers, the things to make it visible. I've got my second brain that I've built to be able to dump stuff and also keep it top of mind, and in a visual way I can see at a glance all the projects that I have going on. And you don't have to go as complex as I do, but having that high level overview of what are the things on my plate is so helpful. I know I was listening to a book today while I was making dinner, and I point that way because I was grilling on the grill over there. And it's by Cal Newport, called Slow Productivity. And by the way, I love Cal Newport stuff. But it was just cool to like, okay, and I just lost my train of thought where I was going with Cal Newport. Slow productivity. Oh, okay. So Jessica McCabe, in writing this speech, she spent a lot of time and effort to craft this thing and to practice, to talk to this audience, and to be able to eloquently talk about the subject. She didn't just spontaneously go up and apply for a TED Talk and then just go up there and not have any notes and speak, right? So she had to really slow down and methodically like get good at public speaking and at sharing, and she's been doing that for years on her YouTube channel. And so I guess what I'm highlighting is, here is somebody that has ADHD that struggles with being spontaneous, and yet she's been consistent for years making these YouTube videos. And the TED Talk she gave was, I think, 9 years ago, and she's still doing it. She just finished writing a book on ADHD. And so we are able to be consistent. We're able, people with ADHD, to tap into like this slow productivity that Cal Newport talks about, to like plod along and to get good and to have valuable skills that can really almost push the needle on human development, or can really have a great impact into people's lives. We don't have to just flirt from job to job all the time. When you are in your zone of genius, like Jessica McCabe, you're able to have just a profound impact and have work that's meaningful. And that's where I feel I have work that's meaningful, even though I'm this person that's drawn to, very quick things, and I've hopped around from job to job. And now my goal is to, how can I develop a deep skill and deep value to really help other people instead of just jumping to the next thing. And that's what coaching is about. It may still evolve into something else at some point down the road, like being an author or being a public speaker. But coaching is kind of this core that I've settled on, like Jessica McCabe settled on these YouTube videos that she did, and then writing this book. So I think if I'm pulling out a message for you, it would be, you don't have to settle for quick fixes. You don't have to settle for like the sugar of a dopamine rush. What would it look like to have steak, to have meat and potatoes, to have like really awesome work, to really have an impact in other people's lives? What would work look like for you? What would your life look like if you had set an intention to go in that direction and to have an impact? And it can look many different ways, but ADHD doesn't have to be an excuse. ADHD can actually help propel you and help to like make it happen. I do not believe ADHD is a superpower, but look at Jessica McCabe and the creativity that she put into the videos and into just all the work that she's done. The work that she's done is because she has ADHD. She's able to create that work. And part of it's just because it's her story imbued through all those videos. So I think for me, that's true of my coaching. Like, I can be super present and I can be paying attention to people as they're talking because of my ADHD. I'm actually interested in going down into tangents and following along and pulling out and sussing out, like, what's the core, what's the root of this? So my brain is playing these games as people are talking. I'm playing a game thinking about what they're saying from multiple perspectives. So I'm actually able to listen very deeply because I'm interested in like what's going on and uncovering the root issues of why we behave the way we behave. And so my ADHD is a skill set. It helps me in some regards in coaching. And then it also detracts from some things that I have to just learn how to like push out and how to lessen the impact of the negative aspects of it. So yeah, I'm glad that I watched that video today at lunch. I didn't realize that I was going to be sharing that with you. I had something else slated, but I was not happy with my live stream yesterday. Just I felt like I was rambling. And today, I'm glad I got to share these things with you, even though I did not get very much sleep last night because I have my newborn daughter. But yeah, so I just want to say thank you for being a part of this journey, for being with me as I do this dog food challenge. It's encouraging to me to have people like helping to blah, 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 helping me to not have to eat this. And just knowing that you're watching, that people are following this. Tyler at Mindshare Club has actually offered to give me a month free at his co-working place if I finish this challenge. And believe me, like, that's actually motivating. I love his place. He's got like a cool studio. He's got like all these like Superman booths or like booths to go in and work. So I can't wait to go there and shoot some videos and share Mindshare Club with you. Yeah. So, that's pretty cool that he's doing that. So I'm hopeful that I get that. I'm hopeful that I can be consistent despite the challenges that I have with ADHD and impulsivity and hyperactivity and inattention sometimes. But there is hope. There is a way. And together we can figure it out. It's through having other people around me that give me feedback. It's through the resources and the other books that other people have put out there that help me and now that are helping me help you. So, thankful for all that. I think that's where I'll call it. Hope you have a good night and stay tuned to Focus Habits 30-Day Live or Dog Food Challenge and see if I make it through or if I end up eating the dog food. Have a good night. And, it's election night. We'll see who wins. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. Goodbye.